know what sucks? Forced software updates. Don't you love it when your phone decides to randomly update without permission? Forced updates are anti-consumer and shouldn't even be a thing in my opinion. It should be optional. Not to mention, most updates don't add shit and instead bog down the performance of your device. It's called planned obsolescence. The phone manufacturers push out updates that include nothing but junk and random patches that intentionally make your phone run slower and lag just to frustrate you and resort to buying the newest model on the market. Why isn't this malicious practice illegal? I tried searching online if there are any third-party solutions or software to prevent forced updates on Samsung phones. Nothing. I've seen some forums about going into the developer settings and disabling updates, but it no longer works. Also, why on earth is a patch update, for a phone mind you, taking up 4 GB of valuable storage just for no actual useful features to be added? Must be one hell of a patch. There's been numerous occasions where it's more of a downgrade than an upgrade. There's a few loopholes to avoid phone updates, such as pushing it back to the next day each time, but I'm not always going to remember that and my phone will end up updating overnight while I'm asleep. There's been a couple times where my phone randomly decides to update at the most inconvenient times possible, such as when I'm out in public or trying to get a hold of someone. Worst of all, Windows 10 loves to do forced updates as well. For the first few days, Windows gives you the choice to either shut down or to update then shut down, and then like a week later it forces you to update no matter what, even if you hold down the power button on your PC or laptop. Fortunately, there is third-party software out there that will block and disable the mandatory updates, and therefore keep your device at a swift and optimized speed. However, I don't always recommend this because the system's security will not be up to date and will leave you more vulnerable to viruses and attacks, but you can easily avoid that by not going on sketchy-ass websites. I vividly remember when Windows 10 was first introduced to the public, it would update without any prior warning or consent during the middle of user sessions on Windows 7. That means if you were trying to get work done or writing an essay on Microsoft Word, it was all lost. Before Windows 10 came out, forced updates were virtually unheard of anywhere except for the Xbox 360 and PS3, however, it only locked players out of online play. Another reason why forced updates and patches are a terrible idea is because if an update is not properly tested and contains broken code, it can break your PC. Every few years, I see news articles about how Windows 10 system updates or updating the BIOS will brick PCs. Seriously, we need more testers out there and to test the updates on all sorts of systems with control variables so no stone is left unturned. Game consoles such as the PS4 and Xbox One will not allow you to use any online features or install game updates until you update the system software. However, this was done for anti-piracy measures and so people weren't jailbreaking consoles to use mod menus in multiplayer games. Remember the awesome glassy Fruitigo Arrow theme that PS4 had during launch until the big 4.0 update in September 2016? Wish they still made that theme available in the settings instead of making the boring flat interface permanent with no way of reverting. That brings me to my next point. Not many systems allow you to roll back updates unless it's a major update such as the Windows 10 feature updates, or if you upgrade to the next version of Windows, such as going from Windows 8.1 to 10 or Windows 10 to Windows 11. They give you a 1-month window to roll back to the previous version if the new one is not fit for your device. Hopefully as time goes on and more people speak out about this major inconvenience and scummy manipulation tactic, developers will feel less inclined to force buggy, slow, and untested software and firmware updates down our throats and make it optional once again. But at the same time, I have a feeling it will get worse in the future and we'll have forced updates every single day on every device, as everything apparently needs to be connected to the internet nowadays. Everyone's familiar with the phrase Internet of All Things. Gotta love when you're trying to make toast in the morning in the year 2069, and your smart toaster randomly decides to take half an hour to install a software update that doesn't even add or fix anything. Or you want to turn up the thermostat because it's negative 40 degrees outside, but the manufacturer was DDoSed, and now the heating is now non-functional and you have to freeze to death. Or what if there was an intense heat wave and someone hacks into your thermostat and turns the heat all the way up to the highest setting? That would be evil. Maybe not every single object needs to be connected to the internet. Last but not least, you're running late for work in the year 2043, but your smart vehicle won't start up because it needs to download a 19TB update that will take 3 hours to download. We need to start giving power and freedom back to the users, and not solely the lead developers at Microsoft, Sony, Google, Apple, and Samsung. We shouldn't have to sacrifice our digital freedoms for worse system performance. Updates should only exist as a choice that betters your device. That's the whole point of an upgrade. It's not supposed to inconvenience you. Maybe push out software updates just to fix bugs, optimize the device's performance, and to add actual features, not to annoy you. And also test the updates before they're pushed out. And that is why forced updates suck.